Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Dimple Khosla, Assistant Professor from Dyal Singh College, Karnal. The topic of today is perception. By the end of this module, the students will be able to understand the meaning of perception, understand the cognitive process, understand the difference between sensation and perception, understand the concept of stimuli. They'll come to know the definitions of perception and the process of perception. Let us start with the introduction. Perception word is derived from the word Latin, perception. Perception means understanding, thinking about a particular thing with a particular point of view. In simple words, it refers to the process through which the people select, organize, and interprets information available in their environment or surroundings. Perception actually is a combination of two words, that is sensation and cognitive power. Perception is equal to sensation plus cognition. Sensation refers to the response of physical sensory organs towards the information received from the environment, whereas cognition is the act of knowing an item of information. Cognitive process precedes the behavior as well as perception. It is that process which creates understanding. So, by clearly understanding cognition and cognitive process, the study of perception becomes more easy and systematic. Perception process. From the above, it is clear that perceptual process is a sequence of steps that begins with stimuli in the environment and ends with our interpretation of those stimuli. We all go through this process uncounted times a day because this process occurs completely unconsciously. When something happens instantly without our awareness, then it is known as unconscious process. When we feel thirsty, no one tells us that we need to drink water, or when we get hurt, no one tells us that it will pain now. These all things happen to us and we react to these in a natural way because the stimuli trigger the processes and categorize automatically. Here you can see a picture of Rubens' vase. It is a popular optical illusion which is used to illustrate difference in perception of stimuli. Rubens' vase can be taken as the best example to understand the perception. It completely depends upon our brain's way of focusing, that how we see it and how we perceive it. One can concentrate on the black part of the image and can perceive it as a vase. On the other hand, another person may concentrate to the white part and may perceive two faces. So, it completely depends on our way of looking at the things and then interpreting them. Now, we will understand sensation and perception. The term perception and sensation are often used as synonyms, and people have a great confusion regarding these terms. So, these need to be clarified properly. For having the clear understanding of the term sensation, it should be understood that the study of sensation is concerned with the initial contact between organization and their physical environment. There exists various forms of sensory stimulation, and sensation describes the relationship between these various forms. It also explains how our sensory organ responds to these inputs, and then comes the turn of the perception. Perception processes and interprets these raw inputs. Thus, perception process begins with the sensation. Now we need to understand what the term stimuli means. Stimuli is also included in perception process. It plays a vital role in it. It enables an individual to select the related things in the environment according to one's interest. There are many objects, events and people in everybody's environment which actually are known as stimuli. In other words, it refers to the objects, events or people available in the environment. The environment may be of two types: external environment and internal environment. External stimuli are related to the surroundings of an individual. It includes the observation of atmosphere around us, like heat waves in the summer, cold waves in the winter and light waves in the daytime, etc. Internal stimuli are related to the internal comfort or discomfort, actions caused by the physiological functioning like food passing through the digestive system. If human body lacks water or food, the persons feel thirsty or hungry. Reaction to stimulus can differ from one to another, as nobody can be attracted to all the objects, events and people. Therefore, everybody selects different or some particular stimuli present in the environment and get attracted towards that. So this also means that different people have different opinion about particular stimuli. It is therefore said that it is not necessary that perception may reflect the reality. Now let us read some definitions of perception. According to the Uday Parikh, perception can be defined as the process of receiving, selecting, organizing, interpreting, checking and reacting to the sensory stimuli or data. According to the Lithin's Fred, perception is an active psychological process by which individual organizes to interpret their sensory impressions in order to give meaning to their environment. According to Stephen P. Robbins, a process by which individuals organize and interpret their sensory impressions in order to give meaning to their environment is known as perception. Another one given by the Umasekaran, perception is the process through which people select, organize and interpret or attach meaning to event happening in the environment. Perceptual process starts with the perceptual inputs. Perceptual inputs means the stimuli available in the environment. These stimuli includes objects, events and people. When a person comes in contact with any stimuli in the environment, the process of perception starts. Characteristics of stimuli, characteristics of the perceiver himself and the situation have a significant role to play in the choice of stimuli by an individual. In reality, perceptual inputs are not a part of perception process, rather it is required to initiate the process of perception. It is actually receiving the stimuli from the environment. Environment includes economic environment, political environment, socio-cultural environment, technological environment, international environment, etc. So all those things in the environment where event occurs or contribute to the occurrence of events can be termed as perceptual inputs. Perceptual throughputs. It is in fact the process of perception. Under this, perceptual inputs are converted into the perceptual outputs. In other words, during perceptual inputs, the information received is processed to obtain the output. includes further 3 steps to complete the process of perception. These are selection of stimuli, organization of stimuli, and interpretation of stimuli. What is selection of stimuli? Selection of stimuli from among the various present in our surroundings is the most important step of the perceptual process. As there are numerous stimuli prevailing in the environment, our sensory organs are not capable enough to absorb all those stimuli. So, we choose only those towards which we get attracted to or which is related to us. Thus, the remaining stimuli are just simply ignored by us. In this way, we select a single stimuli out of a large number of stimuli available in the environment. There are so many external and internal factors which influence our selection of stimuli like location, motion, color, size, nature, novelty, familiarity, repetition, intensity, etc. To explain a few, we start with the external factors. Number 1, there is size. Perception is influenced by the size, also because larger size things get more attraction than smaller size. If while passing through a road, we see an advertising flex on the roadside, then there is a big chance of it being noticed if it is bigger in size. Repetition. In organization behavior, it is said that the perception towards repeated things is more stronger than the things which are just said once or happened once. For example, if on a particular day we see an ad repeatedly and we are also in need of that product, then it is very natural that at the time of actual buying, we will perceive that product first which we saw in the advertisement, because our brain will automatically respond to that stimuli which was affected by that particular ad. Now, the main is perceptual outputs. This is the concluding step of the perception process. When the perceptual inputs go through the process of perceptual throughputs, perceptual outputs start appearing. At this step, the result of this process could be seen. The output may be in the form of individuals' opinion, attitudes, values, feelings, change in behavior, etc. So, the perception process is a mind process as it requires brain or intelligence at every step in the process of perception. Also, it acts as activation, subjective process which include unique interpretation using the cognitive power and multiple uses in different areas of organizational behavior. It provides check on behavior, meaning to stimulus which are affected by many factors. Summary. Perception is important in management in various ways, but the basic utility provided by the perception process is that it helps to ascertain the behavior of the employees or any change in it. As with the help of this, we can check the implementation of policies for achievement of organizational objectives. The success of a manager in an organization depends upon the fact that how easily the organizational objectives are being attained. For this, the study of behavior is required, which is influenced by perception due to the reason that people do as they perceive. So, to control and know the behavior of employees, perception knowledge is also required. Perception doesn't happen to be a true picture of some object, event or people. Rather, it is a personal point of view about them. Perceptual process is a sequence of the steps that begins with the stimuli in the environment and ends with our interpretation of those stimuli. There are so many external and internal factors which influence our selection of stimuli like location, motion, color, size, nature, novelty, familiarity, repetition, intensity, etc. Cognitive power refers to the understanding of raw stimuli and converting it into a meaningful stimulus. The perceptual output may be in the form of individuals' opinion, attitudes, values, feelings, change in behavior, etc. Thank you.